O'Brien, who joins us now. Doc, welcome. How are you?
Hi, Mike. How are you today?
All right, Doc, let me start with the craziness of luck, and then we'll get on to the guys who are actually playing. This has gotten to be the theater of the absurd because on one side, there's the stories that they are quelling that state that he is so badly hurt that his future's in doubt. And on the other side, the owner comes out and says it's all in his head. He's not hurt, which I'm sure had to infuriate the Luck camp, although they never responded. There were other people calling for him to fight his way out of the organization. So it makes you think that there's just a tremendous amount of speculation around this shoulder injury.
Yeah, Mike, it's really unfortunate. And if they just came out earlier in a different way, it probably wouldn't be so much a theory of the absurd. I definitely do not think Andrew Luck's career is in jeopardy, but I do think he needs another surgery. And I read that they want to rest him for 3 months and rehab and then make a decision. I think that's a mistake. If I've been right the last number of weeks, Mike, he should get on with it, fix it, and start rehabbing now because he's deconditioned. He's been deconditioned for a while. Unfortunately, Irsay, too, may have some less culpability here if he's being told that there's nothing wrong, and I'm hoping that's not the case. But even then, he shouldn't be doing what he's doing, and it's hurting the team. It's hurting him. I saw something today that they're organizing a class action suit because of the deception with this whole thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of unhappy people in the franchise. There's no question because they think that they've been misled all year about his performance and everything else. So it has reached a crazy. So you still think there's a chance anyway, without seeing him, that you think he might just have bicep tendonitis, right?
Correct. And if I'm right, Mike, he needs the surgery. The rest won't help him, and he could be 100% by next year.
All right. Now, talking about shoulders, Jameis Winston's out this week with a shoulder. What do you hear about that?
Well, I think they did the right thing. He got hurt in week 6. It's now a month later. It just wasn't working. The team's 2-6. I think he was very smart to sit him out. He went to see Jimmy Andrews, and I think the team has handled it well. They tried to let him play with it, and you can. There's nothing wrong with that. But the longer you push this with an AC joint on a throwing shoulder, the more he might risk an off-season surgery now or in the next few years. They did the exact right thing by sitting him down.
All right, couple of ankles to prominent guys here. Des Bryant with an ankle in the Dallas-Atlanta game this week.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. He practiced today, evidently ran well. I don't think it's going to be a big issue. I saw the video of his injury. It didn't look bad. I think they took the proper precautions last Sunday, but I think he'll play. He evidently looked very good in practice today.
And Julio Jones with an ankle.
Okay, so Julio, it's actually funny. They described it as a lower leg injury. And looking at the film, they're right. He not only twisted his ankle, but his knee. But he did practice today. They didn't say how well he did. And Julio Jones has played a number of years on one leg pretty effectively, so I think you'll see him playing as well.
And for the Pats, Chris Hogan, when they go to Denver on Sunday night against the Broncos with a shoulder injury.
No way he'll play, Mike. I looked at the film. Unfortunately, now the guys don't have shoulder pads covering their deltoid muscle. He got a huge whack by a helmet, full speed, right underneath there into his deltoid muscle, which is kind of the shoulder pad of your muscles. And with that, you can get what's called pseudoparalysis. You can damage actually a nerve there called the axillary nerve, and it can shut down on you. And that's why if you notice on the sideline, and he's been in a sling since, I'm not sure he's moving his shoulder. If it comes back, it could be 2 weeks, but it also could be as long as 6 or more for that to come back, if I'm right.
You mentioned that. We know these guys wear different pads. Now, you've been on the sideline with the Giants for 15 years. Are you a stickler on the pads that these guys wear for protection, or do you understand that guys want to cut down their pads?
You certainly understand the guys want to optimize their speed, agility, and flexibility, but I think some better compromises have to be found. I think if he had the old-style pads, he wouldn't be out right now. That's my guess. But what can you say? I think, again, that train's left the station. The guys just don't wear the pads, and they're looking for every edge.
Yeah.
It's hard to mandate that they do that, but, maybe they should give some consideration to at least some things.
Do you find, Doc, late as you get into this middle to late part of the season, do you, when in your years of doing it, do you diagnose injuries differently on these players because now they've been going at it since July or early August and they're beat up? Does it change recovery time for these guys?
Yeah, they come back a little slower, Mike. And also, when you come into decisions now at this part of the season, like Winston, you kind of say, okay, we're 2-6. It's not working out. If this were the playoffs, he'd be playing because there's no safety concerns with him playing, but it's a smarter move not to play him when they're 2-6 and the way his shoulder's doing. If this were the playoffs, Winston would be playing because it's safe to play. It's just going to be a performance issue.
Is Rodgers in any danger if he comes back? Now, they say if they were winning, and they're not winning, but if they were winning, Aaron Rodgers could come back late in the season. Would he be risking anything coming back? And my point is, if he wanted to come back and play a couple of games just for his own head for next year, would you have any problem with that? Would he be risking anything if he came back? Would it be smarter for him not to come back till next year?
I think it'd be smarter from the standpoint of deconditioning, but otherwise, no. He's got a plate and screws on his fracture. It'll protect it. And, no, it's not like Romo. Romo had no hardware to protect him. That's what the hardware will do. He could play if he had to, but if they're not winning, they probably won't.
Do they leave the hardware in till the bone knits, or do they leave it in there full time?
You always leave it in till the bone knits. It's controversial whether to take it out. Up to 20%. It causes them discomfort, and up to 20% have the hardware removed. You can do that in an off season.
But do any guys leave it in full time and never take it out?
Yes. The majority, I think, if you had your druthers, you'd want to take it out because it's usually a source of discomfort. And if it's a throwing arm on an athlete or it bothers him, you're best off taking it off in an off season and then resting him about 4 to 6 weeks to let the little holes fill in.
Does the stuff the stuff you put in to hold it, does that cause arthritis in the bones or no?
No, there's no joint involved in this particular case. So there's no big risk. It's just a matter of whether or not he'll have discomfort from the plate and screws and whether it hurts him throwing. If it doesn't, he probably won't take it out till after his career's over.
Thanks, Doc, very much. Talk to you next week.
All right, take care, Mike.
All right, Dr. Steve O'Brien on everything that's going on with the injury. So gave you good reports on Julio and Des Bryant. Bad report on Hogan for Sunday night against. So now that even narrows that game down for the Pats a little more. I don't know if Denver's gonna get anything out of their offense in that game. But if they do, that could be a game where you could see Brady on the run, and you could see that spirited defense maybe picking up, and that being a very close. I just got a gut feeling on that one being a close game. I think the Pats will win, but I just think it's going to be a close game, much inside the 8 points that it is right now. Back after.